My name is Winston-Salem, Thurston Howell III. But when you become a recording artist like I am, you can go just by one name. And the likes of Cher and Madonna, people call me Bubba. It's so good to be here at this party to say goodbye to Pastor Jason. He had to go back to his house and take care of his daddy, who's a little bit under the weather, you understand. So he sends his regards. Now, how many of you knew about that Pastor Jason had a cousin named Bubba? How many people? Oh, that's wonderful. A few of you knew that. Some of you didn't know that. That doesn't surprise me one bit. Pastor Jason doesn't like to talk about me sometimes. It's almost like I'm the black sheep of the family. But you know why he doesn't talk about me very much, don't you? That's exactly right. He's jealous of me. He's jealous of me. I'm more talented than he is. Thank you. I'm better looking than he is. And just by you all laughing, you know I'm more funny than he is. Oh my goodness, Aunt Margaret, I didn't see you there. I'm sorry. It's been a while since we've seen each other. You're looking very, very good. It's nice to see you. Yeah. But he also knows I'll tell some stories on him.
We're looking forward to that.
Now, I go to the different churches and things like, oh, that Pastor Jason, he's so wise. He's so wise. But I can tell you stories where he showed his hair color a few times. For instance, we went to eat at this nice, swanky restaurant, very fine dining, very sophisticated. And they had this wall just there full of mirrors. We got to sit down there at the dinner table, and he looked over and he said, my word, Bubba, look at over there. There's two people look just like us. Look at me. I said, well, Jason, we better stand up and go over there and introduce ourselves to them. So we got up, began to walk their way. Jason said, oh, no, Bubba, look, they're coming our way. That boy just ain't bright. One of the other reasons why he's jealous of me is because I'm married. And he's not. It is. Very sore spot. Very sore spot. But marriage has its disadvantages. No, just a few. So I try to tell them, look at it on the right side. It's not like you have to worry about things like I do. For instance, one day I was in my cabin up there in the mountains of West Virginia. And I was getting a little sleepy, ready for a nap. The rain was coming down there on the tin roof and put me to sleep, and I was just getting all comfortable about that. Give me some sleep. And all of a sudden there, the ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding. Who could that be? So I got up there, I just my comforter and got to the door, opened the door, and there was my mother-in-law just standing there. I said, well, don't just stand there in the rain. Go home. That is disadvantages. That is disadvantages. I asked Pastor Jason there, I said, so what are you going to be preaching about? And he said, the importance of taking one day at a time, taking advantage of the day, making good use of the day. Don't be thinking like you have years and years in advance to live. I said, well, that just sounds peachy. But there's some wisdom to it. There's some wisdom to that. While you have to live in the present, you also have to have something to look forward to in the future. And tomorrow's Valentine's Day. And that's another disadvantage. At least if he's single, he can save himself some money when he goes to the car. And I said, when I got married, I said, all right, I got to give something to my wife to look forward to, other than waking up with this pretty face in the morning. So I said, now look here, honey, it was Valentine's Day, our first Valentine's Day of holy matrimony, married husband and wife. I said, now look, 10 years from now, on Valentine's Day, you and me, baby, I'm going to take you to Hawaii. This past year, on Valentine's, this past 2009, on Valentine's Day, I took her to Hawaii. I kept my promise. Gave her something to look forward to, day after day, year after year, looking forward to going to Hawaii on Valentine's Day. We were there on the island at the restaurant, and I looked at her in the eyes. I said, honey, I'm going to give you something to look forward to 10 years from now. I said, 10 years from now, I'm going to come back to Hawaii to pick you up. I tell you what, marriage gets sweeter and sweeter as the days go by. That's the best 10 years in going of my marriage right now. Mm-hmm. Let's see, what other story can I tell you about that? Maybe all. Oh no, there's one more. When he and I were kids growing up together, on Sabbath afternoon we'd go to the nursing home. And I'd play my little banjo. I didn't bring my banjo, got lost in the airport. But I'd play the little banjo, and he'd do a little preaching there in the nursing home. And at the end of every sermon, he'd make a little altar call there in the nursing home. Y'all, I don't know what he was expecting, to tell you the truth. These little old ladies would go in that crawler out going in front, the people just spinning their little wheelchairs coming up the altar. I don't know, but anyway. There was one day, I tell you, he got carried away with himself. He was a preaching, and a preaching, and a preaching, and a preaching. And a preaching. And at the end of his little sermon there, he went to this old man and said, sir, I hope you get much better. That old man didn't miss a beat. He said, sir, I hope you do too.